Morning, it's Thursday, May 16th. This is the Plant-Based Morning Show, sponsored by Compliment. We're just days away from the Compliment Plantapalooza kickoff. Doug can tell us how many days in a minute, but big news today is that a large study, long decades-long study, in a sense, analyzing 50 studies going back past 20 years, has basically ruled in favor of plant-based diets. So we get some good news all over the timeline today, all over the news feed. So that's exciting. I called this bottom, I'm telling you, a couple weeks ago, and I think we're bouncing back. This is the beginning of the bounce back. All right, Doug, how are we doing? Excited about this new news?
Something else is actually not that bad.
I cut out for a second there, Doug. I didn't catch what you said.
Oh, sorry. I said even the bad news is really not that bad in the other story.
The dog
story.
news?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's confusing because there are two media headlines that are opposites, and they're talking about the exact same study. So we'll get into that one in a bit. But yeah, the good news is always good. We need more of that. Plus more from the cultivated meat world, some exciting stuff. So anyway, Doug, anything going on? It's nice weather. That's good. We can talk about the weather. We've talked about the day of the week already. What?
I think we might be having some tech issues. Might be me.
Delays
might be you.
or
I'm not sure. I don't know. You cut out. I cut out. Anyway, things are good, Matt. I had some green chili last night from the crock pot, which is white bean chili with green salsa, which was delicious.
Yep.
And woke up this morning, knocked out 5.5 miles. So feeling pretty good. Feeling jazzed.
Good. You should send me that chili recipe if you have. Is there a recipe, or is this just like you throw stuff in?
It started as a recipe, and now we just throw stuff in. But I could probably find the original recipe.
Yeah, ship that over to me. I'm interested because I've been sick of regular chilies for about 15 years now. I just don't like chili anymore. But
really,
green chili though, that sounds pretty good. That sounds different, and crock pot sounds very good because it's easy. So I'd like to get that. When I made yesterday, in a pinch.
Tortilla chip in there?
No chips on top. Would not do that. Possibly on the side, possibly some corn tortillas, heated in a pan, served alongside. But I don't think I would do the chips crumbled on. Certainly wouldn't do it. They get all soggy and everything. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I mean, you don't just like dump a whole bunch on top and then have it be the rest of the meal. You crinkle a couple and eat it while it's still a little bit crunchy, a little bit soggy.
Okay.
And you crinkle a couple more.
What about getting those like the scoop chips and dip the chili in the chip?
I'd be fine with that too. Yeah, I'd be good with that.
Just do away with utensils. You could have no utensils in your house. You only use chips to eat.
Chips and wraps.
And wraps. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really honestly not that far off already. So.
All right. Well, Jessica Goodenough says she's with me on the chili getting old. I think. I mean, I don't know. There's just chili's a tough sell to me without ground beef in it. Like it just, I guess, because I wasn't sick of chili back in those days, but it's just been so long. You get some beans in there, and I like beans, but I don't know. There's just not a lot of exciting. Maybe that's what the chips are for. And then she does say that she's with you on the chips. She says yes, the chips on top. So she goes both ways there. Jessica Goodenough. We were sitting around. I started to think Chinese food was in the picture. I was gonna do a little order, and then I said I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna make food. And so I made a stir fry with tofu that we had, air fried it. That was good. Actually, that worked out really well. Again, it always does. But I sprayed a little extra oil this time on the tofu, and it just turned out nicer. And then it had some green beans in the fridge, some purple cabbage, and a half of a red bell pepper. And I sauteed those things in the wok. Made a little sauce from the book I have. I think it's called Get Saucy. Has a bunch of good Chinese style sauces. And it was a nice little stir fry. It worked out really well. Things weren't overcooked. One of my best stir fries ever, actually.
Wow, that's a big statement.
You know why? Because the sauce thickened up this time, and it's unknown to me why. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But it was perfect. It was like a Chinese. It was like we ordered it, but better.
Man, purple cabbage is one of my favorites.
It is good, and I think a nutritional powerhouse. All that purple got to be good for something.
Gotta be.
Yeah. All right, Matt, Kate says I've made it with Beyond crumbles in the past, but I'm fine with the beans. Yeah, I guess that would add some variety. Beyond stuff.
It's all about making it thick, in my opinion. Like not too thick. You don't want it to be gooey, but
Right.
you don't want it to be super runny like a soup either. You got to have it kind of, I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's gotta be the
Then
right.
you don't miss
Gotta be the right thing.
to me, then you don't miss the ground beef.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I feel like if you don't, if what you were mostly eating is beans and tomatoes,
Yeah.
it's just not that good. So like I think you used to put cheese on the stuff, and I wouldn't do that now with the vegan cheese. I don't like that stuff enough. And
We
I
do
wouldn't
sour
really do the
cream.
Beyond Kernels in there either. I think that Beyond stuff, the taste of it comes through too much, and it just doesn't taste like, I don't know. I should just put
I
like
mean,
neutral
we put
flavored
other
like
pepper,
chili peas.
like this one calls for peppers in there, and then
Yeah,
like a red chili, I would put carrots or something like that in there too. Maybe celery even. I don't know, maybe not. But I don't know. Like you just kind of add a bunch of stuff. To me, it's good when you have the right spices, right flavor, and the right consistency. Then I think it's pretty good.
yeah, it is good. I just got really sick of it, really tired of it. All right. Well, people are weighing in with more stuff. Brandon Turner says we do tofu in the air fryer with soy sauce and garlic. I usually don't put anything on there, but when you do take that little extra time, it does turn out well usually. Britters is talking about coney dogs for some reason. Then sans beans, more impossible meat. What is coney dogs? Is that related to chili somehow? I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, she'd put the chili on top of the dogs. That's what it is. So if she's making
Oh,
some sort of vegan hot dog, I guess, then you don't put any beans. You put just ground beef, kind of chili, and that's what goes on your hot dog. I can understand that. You wouldn't want beans on your hot dog. That would be weird. All right. Kate mentions vegan sour cream. She says that's good too. That's a good point. You know what I bought the other day? The Hellman's sour cream. Did you ever buy that?
no.
Not sour cream. The Hellman's. I'm almost
Mayo.
done. Not Hellman's sour cream. Hellman's mayo. Yes, I went to the.
I have had that, and I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I went to a non-standard grocery store for us the other day, looking for that to put on those banh mi tofu sandwiches that we eat often on Sundays. It seems,
Mhm.
and so I didn't have the normal Vegan-Ace, but they had that, so got it. And I actually thought that was better than Vegan-Ace. I will buy that from now on.
Yeah, I think it's the best. Have you seen the Duke's now has a vegan mayo?
No, I don't even know if I know the brand Dukes.
You don't know Duke's?
No, like the college Dukes.
No, I don't know. I mean, Google it. It's you'd recognize it. Yellow branding, black and yellow branding. I don't know. It's one of the
Dukes
classics.
brand
Just
mayo.
like Hillman's.
Never seen that in my life. Never seen
Really?
Dukes in my life. Now I do, but
I mean, you see it all the time at delis and like in like the ketchup pack, but it's yellow.
That kind of rings a bell. I can imagine that.
They now have a vegan version.
They have
I don't
vegan
know.
one? Wow.
Yeah. I
So
haven't tried it yet.
that's surprising because I don't like that doesn't have dairy in it, right? Usually mayo is just eggs and oil or some
Mhm.
ultra processed derivative of that. So that's kind of surprising that like people care enough about vegan versions of that. Like because a lot of people don't like dairy, they're dairy intolerant, even if they're not vegan at all.
Right.
And so I didn't know that people cared about that with mayo, but interesting that those big brands are doing that. So that's a nice sign, I think.
Yeah.
All right,
Mr. Jeffrey wants to
Mr.
know if
Jeffrey.
anybody's paying attention to the Stanley Cup. He says his local team is in it, which is rare. Our local team's in it. The Canes. They go ahead to Game 6 against the Rangers tonight.
They're so far away. I don't even consider that local. They're like 6 hours away from you, 4 from me. But I guess it is. I should root for that. I mean, hockey's fun to watch. I always enjoy hockey. Never watch it, but when I do, it's good. So maybe I'll try to root for the Kings a little bit. The only Stanley Cup I'm paying attention to recently is the giant one that is always on our kitchen table because I don't know if it goes in the dishwasher or what, but it just sits there and no kid washes it and no one knows what to do with it. You can't put it in a cupboard. It's just too big.
You're right about that. Stanley Cup. Stanley Cups that are popular right now. Not a fan of those.
Right.
Don't get it.
All right. Anything else?
I got a question for you, Matt. Okay, so this winter, I kind of rekindled my love for skiing. Did quite a bit of skiing with family this year.
Okay, didn't realize that. I knew you had done some. I didn't know you rekindled the love, but good.
Yep. And and this summer, now I'm looking for that next like sport outside of running and a little bit of lifting, but some sort of like activity that that I can get into. I'm thinking maybe mountain bike. I tried to do that a couple years ago and really enjoyed it, but I just can't get myself to invest in like a $2,500 bike that is what I would need to be able to truly enjoy it. And
Is that right? Is that true? Like you can't enjoy the sport without a $2,400 bike?
well, it's
What
just,
happened in the good old days? You're just taking them out, taking a huffy up on the trail.
I mean, the bike that I have is from someone else. They just gave it to me because they don't use it. I got shocks in the front, but not the back, and so it's a hardtail is what it's called, but it's like just a standard like REI, probably $800 bike, and it's fine. Like I was enjoying it. I could ride the trails, but it's just when you're on a better bike, it's so much more enjoyable. Like there's so much less like chatter and just like you can climb a lot more efficiently. It's just a really big difference. And when you're riding with guys who have much nicer bikes that are so much more efficient and so much faster because it's like can handle the terrain a lot better. I don't know.
Yeah. That
Anyway.
outdoor industry, Doug. That outdoor industry is a big scam, in my opinion. It's a bunch of money grabs.
Anyway,
Trying
I'm
to
looking for a new
doing.
sport. So if you were gonna right now, like let's take out kids, let's take out expense of
Okay.
products. If you were gonna get into some sort of sport right now,
Removing all real practical things in the world that would prevent me from doing
and it
almost
could
every
be
sport.
simple. It could be simple like an adult soccer league or something like mountain biking. What would you do?
Right. If there were an adult soccer league, I would certainly do that around here. Apparently there is, but it's all very advanced players, and people complain about that, and that's not me, so that wouldn't be good. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to play tennis if I had tennis people that played that. That seems kind of fun. I don't know. I gotta think hard about that. I like the fighting. I like the Muay Thai stuff, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a while ago, I was close to signing up for that and starting that up again. I didn't, but that's probably my most likely sport I would get into.
Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, seems like a good, very good workout plus practical value of giving you some self-defense skills, confidence increase probably. Seems like a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What about how about I thought you were into like disc golf and pickleball and stuff.
Yeah, well I think pickleball might be the most obvious one. Disc golf for sure. I don't know. Maybe I gotta get back in disc golf. Disc golf doesn't like make me sweat, and I want to sweat. I want to get that workout in.
Does pickleball make people sweat?
Yeah, singles pickleball in particular is like intense. Yeah. Scott's
like pickleball's too. I feel like if you start playing pickleball now, you're like just one of those people who like follows the trend. It's like you can't do that. Too popular.
Yeah, I mean, if you care about that, or you could just do something that's fun.
Yeah, you could. But then I got to deal with all these trend follower types, and that wouldn't be fun.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. Let's get into the content, the topics. We got some good stuff today. Not a whole lot of it, but all substantial and in general good news. So this is good. No fluff today. No best life online or anything like that. So this is good stuff. Even Veg News, I only got one little bit from them. Had more because I didn't know we were going to get this good story, but we did. Anyway, here we go. First bit of good news. U.S. Cultivated Meat Company, Good Meat, Doug. That's your sister company of Just Egg, or maybe it's a parent company. I don't know. I think it's a sister company. They have announced that today begins the world's first ever retail sales of cultivated meat. Of course, it is not in the United States just yet, which I wish it would have been that because I kind of thought we'd be seeing it soon. It's over in Singapore in the frozen section of the premium meat specialist Huber's Butchery. I don't know. I don't know if Huber's Butchery is a cultivated meat place. I think it's not. I think it's just a straight up butcher. I'm looking that up now, which would be interesting because you'd think that the straight up old school butchers would be the most opposed to cultivated meat, but no. In this case, if they are one, they're selling it. They've been selling the food you can get in fine dining establishments, food delivery apps, hawker stalls. So you can go out and get some cultivated chicken, but you couldn't get it to bring it home. And now, 3.5 years after the initial approval in Singapore for it, you can do exactly that. Here's the catch, though. It's a lower cost formulation than if it was a whole cut of cultivated meat, which is just 3% cultivated chicken. So what do you think the other 97% is, Doug?
It has to be plant-based, right?
Yeah. And I wasn't sure. At first I thought, wait a minute, is this, but I don't think you can easily put it into the regular chicken. It wouldn't really work very well.
Right. That doesn't make sense.
So, yeah. So, and this company, I think, is a vegan company. They make the Just Egg, or at least their sister company makes the Just Egg. So I think that's a big part of their motivation. So it's a plant-based thing, but 3% of it is the cultivated chicken meat. They say it offers the same delicious taste, texture, and experience as conventional chicken. That seems kind of hard to imagine. You have to just
3% chicken.
Yeah. The product, by the way, is called Good Meat 3. And I don't think that means the third version. I think it means it's like their 3% chicken product. So it'll be interesting if they start having different ranges in Good Meat 20 and Good Meat 5, and you can choose your amount like the 80-20 ground beef kind of move. Anyway, it's priced at $7.20 SGD. And I only say dollar because there's a dollar sign in front of it. So I don't know if that's really called a dollar there. That's a 0.74 United States dollars. So, sorry, one of those is 0.74. So that'd be like $5 or so, maybe a little bit more than $5. And that's per 120 gram package. How much is 100 grams? Like a deck of cards size? Quick Googling, looks like a picture of it looks like about that. Small little cutlet of meat.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's an okay price. I don't know, for something cutting edge, new. So I think this is kind of interesting. I definitely an easier thing. Like whereas I'm interested in the cultivated meat. I'd have hesitations about having it on a regular basis, just until we just know more about it. But this, I don't know. I would jump right into this. Give this a try. Keep having it if it was good, to a point. But I like this idea. You get a little taste of it. It's not going to be gross or anything. I don't know.
Seems wouldn't like be a good meat carnivore?
No, I wouldn't do that just yet. I need to know more about that.
I would try this for sure.
Yeah. Would you try this sooner than you would try the full cut, or would you be more excited about full 100%?
I'd be more excited about the full cut.
Yeah. Yeah, I would too. I mean, this is going to taste like you have to imagine the texture. This is going to be exactly the same as any other plant-based thing, but you might get some extra little bit of chicken flavor in there that makes it. And maybe that's all you need. Maybe it's only a tiny bit will make it seem like kind of a very real thing, which would be pretty good to have something like that, where you can still, if you feel more comfortable eating the plant-based stuff, but you just get a little bit of this flavor, still knowing that no animals are harmed. At least, I guess, depends on your definition here, because they got to get the cell from somewhere to start the process. But I think they can do it from a feather now. Anyway, Josh Tetrick, the co-founder and CEO of the company, says this is a historic day for our company and the cultivated meat industry, and for Singaporeans. So 3 groups here have history happening. Never been available in retail before. That's actually not the quote that I wanted to read. The quote that I wanted to read was when he says, by dramatically reducing the per piece cost, this is the idea of the 3% thing, through hybrid formulations, cultivated meat companies can sell to a larger share of the population while they scale up the manufacturing volumes. And he says, many analysts believe there is no path to cultivated meat scaling up without exploring these intermediary steps. So that's kind of interesting. We sort of had that sense. We've heard that before. Now it's happened. So this is cool to me. This is progress. And if this is popular, like, what if this just flies off the shelves? You just got to imagine things are going to ramp up. And if it doesn't, if no one will touch it, then that's going to be a different story. But this is good. We're gonna find out what the fate is pretty soon.
Maybe this will infuse a whole bunch of money into the Just Egg, the Just company, and suddenly I can get my Just Egg all over the place.
It'll be what?
And suddenly I can start getting Just Egg again. They're not going to run out all the time.
What you're mainly concerned about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. Vegan Science says Daring Brand is already making a very good soy-based chicken. I would think the 3% lab-grown fraction would be just enough to scare people away. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Daring. I know it looks similar to the real thing, and it at first bite tastes similar, but something about it, I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't like it. And neither did my kids. They wouldn't finish it when we tried it. So I'm not a huge fan of Daring. I've heard other people who are, though. So we might be alone in that one. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if 3% is. I think any percentage is enough to scare people away who are going to be scared away. 3 to me seems low enough that I don't know. You keep a bunch of people in who maybe wouldn't try the whole thing, or maybe it's all or nothing. Maybe people are just not going to try this stuff. I don't know. We'll see. That's what we will find out soon.
Katie C says daring is one of my favorites. I couldn't even stomach it the first time because it was too chickeny. Wow.
Yeah, texture-wise, it is too chickeny. The taste to me is still off. Fleshy, she said. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. I think a lot of people know the issue with like the Morningstar Farms products in the United States, that a lot of them have eggs still. So, or egg whites or something. So they're not vegan. You buy a thing and you get home, you're ready to have a nice, good buffalo chicken patty, and then you realize that the thing has eggs in it and it's not vegan. So that's not solved yet. But over in the UK, the Vegetarian Butcher, which is now part of Unilever, they've partnered with the Every company to basically put their plant-based egg whites into the meat alternatives that are still not yet fully veganized. So this Every company has something called the Every Egg White. And I don't know if this thing is available for consumer retail sales or if it just goes to companies to use in the things that they make for retail. But it's a fermentation process, utilizes yeast and sugar, produce proteins that mimic the gelation properties of hen's eggs. So that's pretty interesting. It's like an egg substitute kind of thing that probably not too much of a focus on taste, but rather to get these, the protein and get the binding properties right. So that's kind of cool. Seems like something that is needed. And I wouldn't mind getting my hands on that actual product rather than the meat product. I'd like to get that vegan egg white.
Is it available here?
Are you excited about that? Are you imagining egg white omelets or anything to replace your just egg obsession, or
No,
not?
I'm not super excited about that. I mean, maybe for cooking, like you said, but no.
You need yellow.
People eat egg whites, right? Because they believe the yolk is bad for you. So if it's all plant based, it is what it is.
Yeah,
just a bunch of mung beans.
I remember the yolk always was said to have high cholesterol, but that has been debunked. This idea that dietary cholesterol affects cholesterol in the body. So, is there something else bad about egg yolks? Or
no, I think that was it. I think it's just one of those things that's stuck around, similar to fat-free crackers and stuff.
Right. I'm trying to see if they have saturated fat in them, and that's the problem. No, a large egg contains very little saturated fat, so that must mean the yolk doesn't have much. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I don't know. I mean, yeah. So no reason to avoid the yolk if you're making a plant-based version, and even if you're not, I think. All right. So there's that. And then Veg News got a little look into Bettergoods, which is Walmart's new line that has plant-based as one of the 3 pillars apparently of it. They mentioned some of the products. I haven't heard any product names yet or anything, but this is the first I have. And they mentioned non-dairy oat milk ice creams in flavors like vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, coffee, blueberry swirl, mint chocolate chip, and salted caramel. That is a lot of flavors, all plant-based. $3.62 and $3.62 per pint. So that's a pretty good price compared to what I think we typically pay, upwards of $5 because the kids want the Ben & Jerry's or whatever. And that's oat milk. Usually oat milk ice cream, pretty good. Also, range of gluten-free cookie bites, also plant-based and gluten-free. So now we're kind of in dangerous territory here, in my opinion. Oatmeal chocolate chip, sea salt peanut butter, and coconut chocolate cookie dough bites. So, I mean, who wants cookie dough bites? No, I wouldn't have any interest in this whatsoever. You're not buying that, are you, Doug?
What? Why would you not want cookie dough bites?
Well, I mean, it's an incomplete product, right? If you're going to eat that, you would wait until the cookie is made and buy that cookie instead.
Cookie dough bites are better than the cookie. Cookie dough is better than the cookie, unless it's just an exceptional cookie and straight out of the oven and gooey and soft. Cookie dough is way better than the cookie.
Yeah, it's better. Okay. Well, I consider that the domain of savages to be eating that stuff. So I can't even really comment there. All right, they also make.
Are you not a cookie dough ice cream guy?
No, I'm definitely not cookie dough ice cream. I've had it a little bit and I hate it. It's
my God, Matt, you are so far from living a delicious life.
I don't even like ice cream that much. So if I take ice cream and then I get a little extra bite of sugary stuff in there, I'm just not interested in that. There's also an in-house chocolate almond milk pistachio nut butter. That's unique. And strawberry sparkling water. I don't know why there's only one flavor of sparkling water, if that's what it is. And that's what they pick. Yeah, I didn't know that existed. We always get lime sparkling water. The kids and Aaron drink that. I didn't know you could get strawberry. And then
What?
outside of those sweet offerings, now we're in my wheelhouse.
Wait, you've never had like a LaCroix that's, strawberry or something? How do you not know that you can get strawberry sparkling water?
Because the only time I ever see it is if it's lime when we have
What
it.
kind do you guys
And I
get?
don't, what kind?
What kind do you get? Like brand?
Sometimes they want Waterloo, but
Uh-huh.
that's expensive. So if that's on sale, we'll get it. If not, then I guess LaCroix. I don't know, or the store brand.
I mean, Waterloo, I'm sure has strawberry. They have everything. There's like
Really?
so many different various flavors. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, the sparkling water industry has blown up with literally every combination that you can imagine.
Yeah. All right. Good. All right. Now for the savory offerings, though, Doug. This is what I am much more excited about. What makes my mouth water? Vegan mozzarella cheese shreds. Don't want that. And Walmart does promise though that offers the same satisfying pull and melt as dairy. So I don't know if it's a guarantee to the promise or just a, whatever. If it's just in words only, symbolic sort of thing. And then boxed vegan mac and cheese is also a unique Bettergoods offering available in original and white cheddar flavors. I don't know why Bettergoods calls that unique because you can get it in several other brands now too. So there you go. That's the Walmart thing. None of it sounds good to me. I was hoping more for kind of some staple products, things like the vegan mayos and things like that I might be useful. That just sounds like a bunch of junk food. And I guess
it also sounds like stuff that you can almost already get from several other brands.
Yeah, this would be good if you're a Walmart shopper already, or now that maybe could turn Walmart into your grocery stop.
Mm-hmm.
If you need
it. I mean, it does sound cheaper. I guess we only have the price of the ice cream, but
yeah, but that's a good price. If everything else is similarly competitively priced, that's good. That's a good thing. All right. Looks like there's a little Garuda Legends dust up happening. I'm not sure quite what it is, but he's telling Vegan Stallion to educate himself with Google and so on. So we will move on to the next thing. And this is the good news. Garuda, cover your ears for this one. NBCnews.com. No lesser site than that. It says vegetarian and vegan diets linked to lower risk of heart disease, cancer, and death. Large review finds. And it's not just woke NBC. It's also even New York Post had this one, which is the opposite of the opposite of the liberal media, in my opinion. Maybe not the opposite, but a little bit across the line.
On the other side of the aisle.
Right. Independent in UK, so that's the other side of the Atlantic in this case. So everybody's saying it. This was the big headline today. There's always every now and then there's a big one that dominates all the listings, and today this was it. So I was happy to see this. The details are that it's not a new research that was done in the sense of new experiments or surveys or anything. It is a meta-analysis. So they looked at 50 studies dating back 20 years. And I think I looked at the actual study and it looked to me like they basically anything met the criteria as long as it was, certain criteria. It had to be on studying plant-based diets. And it looks like they took all of them. So I'm guessing this includes big things like China study, Framingham Heart Study, the Adventist Health Studies, these big things. And I think the study itself, this meta-analysis actually, it looked at the quality of those studies and assessed them and weighted them accordingly and all that. But it looked at everything, ran it through the statistical machinery, and it came out looking good for plant-based diets. I'm trying to it's published in PLOS 1, so that's a big study. It's actually 23 years worth of studies that they looked at the health effects of vegetarian or vegan regimens, and they look basically on their impacts on these big time killer diseases and mortality in general. And like I said, came out positively. I don't know what else to really say about it. Like, I guess the one issue I have here, if you want to call it an issue, is like this sort of is like the story all the plant-based people have already been saying forever. We're saying like all this research shows that this diet is good, helps with heart disease, helps with cancer, and a bunch of other stuff. And this thing basically just said, yeah, in a statistical sense, that is true when you look at all the research that you guys have been talking about for all these years. So, I mean, good that their headline's all about it. Yeah, they talked about meat. They talked about red meat, processed meat, kept kind of lumping those phrases together. And I wished we could distinguish between those because I'm really interested in that. Is red meat itself bad, or is it only red processed meat that is bad? Clearly, the red processed meat is bad. They mentioned that several times in this study, but sometimes they would just call it red meat, and I'm not sure what exactly if they meant to distinguish in that case. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff. They mentioned a few things. They did kind of caution. They said, this doesn't mean just drop everything and go plant-based. There's more to be done. They said there's potential deficiencies and things. You need to do this mindfully at least.
Compliment.
Yeah, and they said, by the way, a lot of people who go to plant-based diets also have other factors, right? They tend to be the types who exercise more or other healthy lifestyle factors. And it didn't seem like they could really control for that, or that these other studies had controlled for that much. So that is a problem. They did say there were a few things that it didn't do. Plant-based diet did not lower the risk of gestational diabetes or hypertension in pregnant women. There were several cancers that it didn't seem to have any impact on, but it did have impacts on a bunch of the big ones. I don't have the list right in front of me right now, but overall cancer risk was lower, and a bunch of specific ones in particular. So I don't know. What do you think, Doug? You going plant-based?
And it said, so then it went into why. Yeah, I am. I'm going to go plant-based.
Okay, good. Yeah, did it go into why? I read it, but I read a bunch of these articles, so I don't know which one was which.
Yeah, I mean, so I went into why, and it was basically, the stuff that you'd expect, high fiber, a lot of fruits and vegetables are anti-inflammatory, linked to lower risk of obesity. Those were the big ones, I think. Lower LDL cholesterol.
I also saw, when I looked at the actual study, I saw something about, they said it sort of had two faces. One of these, I think it was the cancer reduction risk. And they said one is that the red meat itself, or at least in this case, again, it was kind of confusing, but they said the red meat itself, I think they meant the red and processed meat, has this known carcinogenic impact. It is a cancer risk. And at the same time, those eating these plant-based diets not only didn't eat that, they also ate more fruits and vegetables, which separately, they can separate that statistically and say that the eating of the fruits and vegetables alone, separate from the meat avoidance, also impacts that cancer risk in a positive way in terms of, positive in terms of preventing cancer. So that was interesting that you get this sort of double impact there. Again, I've always wanted this, guys, from the very early days of No Meat Athlete. I would kind of try to cover my ass and tell people, I don't know. Look, I'm not saying that eating meat is so bad, because I didn't know, and I didn't want to be out there claiming that. I said, but I think that eating of fruits and vegetables is really, really good. And that when you eat less meat, you end up eating more of this stuff. And that's maybe the bigger cause of why this appears to be good for long-term health. This study, again, there's just confusion. It's not clear to me that the eating of red meat is a bad thing, but the processed meat certainly is. So I would love for that to be made more clear. But I don't know. And it didn't seem like these people doing the study were like pro-vegan or pro-vegetarian agenda, because they did offer some of these warnings and things. But I don't know. This seems like a very good thing.
Yeah.
Very good news.
And I don't think the study went into this, but the news article, which I appreciated, went into is vegan or vegetarian right for you? And it kind of talked about different people. It did warn against pregnant women going vegan, which, our wives have both done that and been fine. But, it did do that. But what I did appreciate is that it said at all stages of life, including childhood, children can live on a healthy plant-based diet.
Yep, for sure. That is good. By the way, I'm looking at the list of authors on the study now. There's a whole bunch of them, like 10 of them. One of them, Christopher Gardner, who is known from that Twins Netflix documentary thing. So he is a pro-vegan guy. I should retract that. He does appear to want a vegan diet to be the winner, or plant-based diet. One of the reasons being that he has a movie out about that, and you'd think that the better it is, the better that movie does. But in general, I do trust his research. He also did the swap meat study with Beyond Meat versus regular meat. That, of course, had the sponsorship from Beyond Meat. So he's involved in this. Garuda points out here, astutely, or fairly, I should say, that let me find it. That he said, yes, I know this to be true. The vegan diet is also not the only diet that does it. So that's good. I thought I'd heard Garuda say that vegan wasn't healthy, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I was extrapolating unfairly.
I would have said that as well.
I think everybody eats more of a Mediterranean style diet, which would include some bits of meat, not small, includes plenty of meat, but often seafood. And still yet to be done to me, Doug. I was one of my criticisms of our movement, at least, is that we say these things are true of vegetarian and vegan diets, but are these also true of flexitarian style, say 10% or less of your calories from meat or other animal products, especially if you're avoiding the processed meats, maybe even avoiding the red meats? How would that fare in comparison to a vegetarian or vegan diet? And not that easy to tell. I mean, you'd have to look at 50 studies or a bunch of studies that have studied those things. Because I think in general, this isn't like pit one diet against another. It's more just look at all the research that's been done on these certain diets. So you need to do that. And I don't think those things don't have clear labels to them like vegetarian and vegan does. So I think it's harder to do some of the observational studies and things like that. So we don't know that.
My guess is the answer is yes, kind of like what you were saying earlier, which is, if you're filling your stomach with more fruits and vegetables and legumes, then you're probably consuming less meat, and therefore you're probably getting a lot of the same benefits as full vegetarian or full vegan. So my guess is like a Mediterranean diet, these things are just as healthy or close to it. But I don't know. It'd be interesting if there was a clear study comparing them.
Yeah, right. And the curiosity to me would be like, would including some amount of meat actually improve? Like yes, we see that vegetarian vegan diets help with risks of heart disease, cancer, some other things, and in general overall mortality. But are there certain things that they actually increase the mortality? Right? Are there things that make it worse? Because say you have lower muscle mass into old age, and does that lead? It's not going to be enough to outweigh everything else because you still have a lower overall mortality risk if you eat a plant-based diet. But are there certain parts of it that could be improved upon? That's the thing that I don't know. And that's where I think it would be really interesting to know that, because those are the criticisms that meat eaters will offer and say that, yes, these are true plant-based diets, but the plant-based diet brings with it some of its own risk. And we don't know. I mean, you don't know that entirely for sure, but on the balance, it appears to be better to eat a plant-based diet than a typical omnivorous one. They also mentioned, by the way, in this study, I forgot about this, that the people who eat the plant-based diets tend, compared to general omnivores, to eat fewer sugars and starches and things like that, and processed food in general. And so that's another huge conflating factor. Like, what if you just ate an omnivorous diet but avoided that stuff entirely?
Right.
What would happen? So, that's the thing about nutrition. Hard to know the truth. Hard to get at it. You can only sort of tease it out and make some leaps of faith, I guess. But anyway, there you go. All right. What else? Dog food? Should we jump into that?
Sorry, had a big sneeze.
Okay, no problem. All right, let's look at the dog food thing. Let's do it. This is fairly quick because it's just the interesting thing to me is the disagreement, or at least the media twistings of the story. The article from Newsweek.com, which I found today, said scientists debunk claim dogs, quote, healthiest on vegan diet. They're missing some words in there. We need the or a or something like to help us understand this headline. I think it's scientists debunk the claim that dogs are the, quote, healthiest on a vegan diet. And so what Newsweek, their take on it is that back in 2022, there was research that showed that a vegan dog diet was actually healthier than a regular dog diet. But it was all survey based. So it had this built-in bias of the owners having to assess their dog's health and be accurate in their reporting of what the dogs ate. So there was that one, and what it came out with was that the vegan diet was good. But now they've done a further analysis of that, where they actually controlled for things like the age of the dog, the owner age, the education, and the pet breed. And once they controlled for all those things and added these to a new statistical model, they said it turned out that the association between the subjective pet health ratings and vegan food became insignificant. Meaning, it didn't say that the vegan dog diet was worse. It just said that what looked like it was a positive thing actually disappears when you start to control for other factors. So, kind of interesting. I think we sort of already had said that, or at least people in our audience had said that when we talked about this kind of research before. So really not that surprising, and perhaps still a win win for people who are vegan, because it still says you can. I mean, if we can't tell from this research that a vegan diet is bad for dogs. So that seems pretty good. But then the funny part was over on newswire.com, the headline is new research increases confidence in the benefits of vegan diets for dogs. And it took me a while to figure out that they were talking about exactly the same study.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. So they are.
Yeah. If you click on the actual study that they mentioned at the top of that, it's the exact same one. It says variables associated with owner perceptions of the health of their dog. Further analysis of data from a large international study. So you can scroll down to the end of this study itself and find the conclusion. And the conclusion basically says, we can't tell that the diet changed the dog's health. So it's more, to me, it's more the Newsweek take that the science did debunk the idea that the vegan diet is healthier. This new statistical model did. So that's kind of accurate. But Newsweek also says something like, but are these meat-free diets safe? Like that's in their introduction, as if they're ready to, show you that it's not safe, but it is nothing about safety. It just shows that it's not necessarily healthier than a regular diet. The Newswire take on it, I don't really know what they're doing. They kept talking to Andrew Knight, the guy who did the original study, and he seemed to keep saying things like, I was relieved to see confirmation that feeding vegan diets had minimal impact on owner opinions about health. And so he's basically saying, I was relieved to see that there was actually no bias in the data. So he's kind of like defending this original study. And I wonder, he's actually the source of this Newswire article. So there's your explanation. The guy who did the original study, wants to either defend that study or has some other motivation for wanting the vegan diet to be better for dogs. I don't know if he's vegan or if he's, part of vegan organizations or what. But his spin and press release that he puts out, basically saying new research confirms it, but it really doesn't. It kind of just says we don't know what diet is better, and it's not clear that either one is better from this data.
I mean, I think that the real news, though, I guess this is news if we concluded before that the plant-based diet or a vegan diet was better for dogs. But the real news is that dogs can be healthy on a vegan diet, in my opinion, right? Because everyone would have said the opposite a couple of years ago. Or assumed to be.
Right. Yeah, I think that is fair to assume that, right? If the study with these new techniques basically says we can't really see any causation of either of these diets making the dogs healthier than the other, then yeah, I guess we can therefore assume that they are, as far as we know, as far as this study can tell us, that one's not worse than the other. Like I said, that's kind of a win for plant-based, because that's getting your dog to be vegan isn't usually a motivation to make them healthier. It's to have less impact on the planet or on animals or whatever. So I think this is good. It's just, I don't know, just funny the way people twist things.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
All right. People talking about dogs. That's good. Let's see. Kate says, all right, I want to go back to Garuda in a second, but Kate says, why do you think it's an issue if we get all, sorry, she's talking about the people still, and then she shifts to dog.
Garuda. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she says, my dog has an enlarged heart valve and heart murmur, and it's progressed 0% in the last 2 years. My vet is amazed. He's not 100% vegan, probably 90%. So there, Kate is a believer in the vegan diet for dog health, and that is interesting. I don't know. I really, really can't say. Based on the science, who knows? All right, back to the thing. Garuda has sort of getting the last word here. Says the issue with the vegan diet, back talking about people, is the missing nutrients and supplements needed from a lab, lower in disease mortality, is indeed true for the vegan diet. And yeah, that's a common criticism, right? Like if you need these nutrients, and you undoubtedly, in my opinion, do need to supplement with some nutrients, at least B12 on a plant-based diet. Does that invalidate it? Does that invalidate this sort of science that shows it helps you live longer? And the answer to me is no, right? Like you can just take that supplement, minor inconvenience, very, very minor one. But then you get these benefits compared to an omnivorous diet. That seems like an easy decision for me. But again, we need more research. We need to know, can you get the same benefits from a low meat diet? And then that's a different conversation.
Miss Jeffrey thinks we need a Garuda fact sheet for all the claims.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm still a Garuda fan. Garuda to me is polite generally in his objections, and they're fair objections for the most part. He doesn't make too many wild claims that don't have a little bit of substantiation. So I'm a Garuda fan still. All right. Vegan Stallion's dog's been plant-based for years with great results. Anecdotal, I know. Yeah, and a lot of people say that. I hear that all the time. And the research, like we said, seems to back that up, that a dog can be perfectly healthy on a vegan diet. So that's good. But if you start saying healthier, then I'll say, I don't know. Don't know if the research says that. KDC's vegan 7 years and a gymnast. Look at that. What more proof do we need? All right.
What are you at? What are you like 12 years now?
No, I'm longer. No Meat Athlete was 2009. I began. I was vegetarian then.
Mm-hmm.
That's been 15, and it was after 2 I went vegan, so 13.
Okay.
Good guess.
I'm about 10 years, a little over 10 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
There we go.
but I've been vegetarian. Well, let's see. When did I find No Meat Athlete? Well, that was probably pretty early on, and I had just gone
11
vegetarian.
or 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe like 14 years vegetarian, 10 years vegan.
Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah.
Timelines.
Except for that, the clock starts over at my Taco Bell fiasco.
Yeah. Right. Yep. That's right. If you take one bite accidentally, clock resets. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're done.
Clock resets. So anyway.
All right. Anything else, Doug?
I think so. All right. Thanks, everybody.
What's that, Doug? We keep talking over each other today. I think we have some sort of delay that is doing that, like you said. But anyway, we're done. Don't forget, we have a Friday show. It's 1 p.m. Eastern time. Pretty sure Isabel will be here tomorrow with us, and it'll be good. We'll find a way to make it good. I think thought we had something we were saving for, but maybe we do. We have the Babe Ruth diet, Doug. You gave it to me a while ago. We haven't done an afternoon show. So that'll be insightful and interesting. All right. That's it. Thanks for coming, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Start the weekend tonight, in my opinion. Thursday for you doing Thursday night, Doug? You still do that or not?
You bet, of course.
Getting tacos still?
No, we've been getting tempeh sandwiches. We've been going to Trailhead recently.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You probably don't like that, huh?
Yeah.
You can back with tacos. All right. Anyway, we're done. Enjoy your Thursday. We will talk to you tomorrow. And if we don't, enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. See ya.